At Hause, we've just launched a completely free and open source new JavaScript library called Surf. And what it does is that you can basically integrate it on your website or your web app, and then any AI agent that happens to visit your website will instantly get a command line interface or a CLI to basically extract information from your website or even interact with your website. So the advantage of that is that the AI agent doesn't have to take a lot of screenshots of your website to understand what's going on. It gets like an API, but for all the public information available on your website instantly that it can just efficiently communicate with and get all the information it needs. It could be if you have a web shop, for instance, it can go and put items in the basket and all just through the command line interface instead of having to like click around your website. So yeah, you can check out the website and also the GitHub repository, and it's on NPM. So if you know what that means, you can quite easily add it to your website. But the issue is that we've just launched this, so no one knows about it yet. So obviously, we would like to create some assets, some some Instagram posts, some like generally just brand it and have some material that we can upload to various platforms so that we raise awareness of this new library. So what I'll be using is this new tool I discovered called Lovart.ai. And it's really amazing. It's basically an entire design platform. You can both make videos and images, and you have access to a ton of different AI models, from Nano Banana to even Dance for video. Like, you have everything integrated, and I'll show you in a bit, but it has this extremely intuitive interface for adjusting all your content almost in real time. So you don't really have all these issues with having to reprompt if you want to make just edit some text or something in your generated infographics from Nano Banana, for instance. You get all the strength of something more old school like Photoshop, and all the strengths as well of AI. Design with Lovart. So and I think this describes it quite well. Just create with momentum and bring your vision to life. That's at least also the experience I've gotten while using it. So we simply press get started, and we'll log in. And actually, while I usually don't use these getting started guides, one of the first things I'm greeted with on Lovart is create your brand kit. And I actually want to try doing that because I like the idea of consistency, where you basically you improve your AIs. You don't just reprompt it each time from scratch. You actually build a foundation so that your efficiency just becomes better and better over time. And I think brand kit is a perfect example of that a system gets to know your brand, so you don't need to teach it everything all the time. So I'll try to build a brand kit. So okay, so describe your brand's design guidelines. I will try to just quickly write something. I'll probably speed up the video a bit, but and then I will add all these different assets. So okay, so let me try this. All right, so I've now tried to add as much context as I could. I even added, if you saw, a bit of FAQ section as well from the website. Although I think I'll probably provide the actual information about the project later on. So it's not really a brand thing, but I'm just figuring that the more context I give it from all angles, the better. I'll just name this Surf. And maybe I'll just write here, the website of Surf is surf.codes. Okay, I'll press apply to new projects because I think I'll be creating quite a bit of content for Surf. So let's go back. All right, so let's try to press new project. So yeah, so this is pretty cool that it's already linked the brand kit. But then, of course, if you work on multiple projects, you can always link another brand kit. But it just selected this by default as we wanted it. And these are some different modes based on how many credits you want to spend per generation. I'll just name this Surf Marketing package. Okay, so first of all, I'll just try to see if we actually wanted to create this kind of carousel for social media. Like, what would it actually build just by knowing what it does now? I might add some information if it asks for it, but just based on the current sort of branding we gave it. So let's try to press carousel, and I would like a product promotion carousel. The product is, see what happens. The product is Surf open source JavaScript library, and then I put surf.codes, and then I think I'll just let's see, web search. We'll enable web search because then it can probably go straight to surf.codes and do its own research. Just say do your own research here. And then models, here we can choose what models we want to use. And then I think for this, I really like Nano Banana Pro. So I think I'll specifically say that it should use Nano Banana Pro. And let's see. Yeah. And for agent, you can choose, like, agent is selected by default. You can also choose to have direct to model image generation. But one of the big, one of the cool things about Lovart is this also agentic ability, so that it does some research on its own before it just blindly hands off your task to an image model. And we press the generate button. Okay, so we can see that it starts by saying that it'll help create a production promotion carousel for our Surf JavaScript library, and then it's actually starting to explore the brand kit. And we can check out the details while it's exploring, so it correctly picks up on sort of the context of the library and the brand color, fonts, interregular, logo, and so on. And then it's basically searching the Surf website now as well. And we can see it's even created a plan for each of the carousel slides. So with different headlines, first the context, and eventually some call to action and the subtext as well. It has some reference images. It found this on its own, I guess, and we can open and see. Pretty cool, something from Meta, I guess. So now it's basically asking if this strategy seems good. I mean, I don't want to read it fully, so I'll just try to trust it first, just to see what it does if we're not being too critical. We say it looks good, start generating. Oh, and that's pretty cool. It actually has even you can deploy sub agents, and I'm used to that by now because I have the OpenClaw installation that I've talked about in some other videos, where I use sub agents a lot to divert sub parts of a task or a project, and it works so incredibly well. So it's pretty cool that it can orchestrate sub agents as well in Lovart. Okay, so we're now seeing that it starts to call the Nano Banana API to actually generate the graphics, right? I mean, it's using the logo correctly. It's like a code theme. I feel like there's some adjustments I want to make. I really like the sort of the abstract art of the code, but I'm not so much a fan of this. But I'll show you some pretty cool hacks afterwards. I also don't really like the shadow on the text. I kind of like that it's flat in this case, but we can actually adjust the style. So it's even asking for this. So we can say overall looks good. Never have any drop shadow bit. So let's try this and see what happens. So it's making version 2 now. All right. And it has the next version, which I think is a lot better. Like, it's a lot simpler. Kind of like the abstract code, and we can always create a better quality, because you can see it's a bit pixelated, but we can always use the HD upscaler, for instance, and say, okay, we want it in I guess 2K, and then it'll basically upscale it to a really nice quality. So let's see how this looks in comparison, and see this is of course a lot better quality. I mean, this is of course gibberish, but that's the point. It's just supposed to look artistic, but still pretty much on brand. I kind of like this actually. So I think this looks really great. And what we could do now is just to say, looks good, generate the rest. So that will do. And again, we can always change the model. I'll keep Nano Banana Pro for this one. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. And then while it's generating, we can I can just show you some other really cool things you can do once you have something generated. So essentially, there is like you can do some quick edits. Like you have a quick edit tab. And then you can just describe any edit you want with words. But you actually also have the option of edit specific elements. Like you can, of course, upscale, remove background. You can also use the edit text directly. You actually get all the text in these input boxes here, like these form elements, and you can edit the text and then run it, and then it will just generate a new AI generated image that's exactly the same, but only with the text changes. That's also really nice. So you don't need to do the whole like AI sort of prompting where you say like, do not change anything except for these texts. Do not mess anything up. Like you kind of don't need to worry about all that. Lovart will do that for you with Nano Banana, so that you're sure that it's only like the text that will actually change. So that's really nice as well. There are other options like multi-angles, especially for like 3D stuff. You can move an object, and there are some other options as well. Let's go down and take a look at what's being generated. So I think this looks pretty good. So I like that, but I feel like this is really nice for the cover, but I don't want it to be the exact same throughout. Like when you swipe, you want it to be a bit different. You want there to be a difference between the cover slide and the remaining ones. So I made this prompt like, I love the overall look, but could the 4 content slides have different layout than the cover slides? So still same visual style, of course, but perhaps we shouldn't have the code out in the center of each slide. Instead, it could be placed to the side or similar, so that the content becomes central. So let's try to stop the task, and then I'll just send this instead and see if it will generate like 4 new slides instead. Okay, so excellent idea. Let me generate the remaining 4 slides with varied layouts where the content takes center stage while keeping the code out as a supporting visual element on the side or background. Okay, so that's perfect. And it's generating everything again. Let's see, and they're also all on Nano Banana Pro. Okay, so they're starting to pop in, and this is more what I had in mind. So these slides will become kind of perfect with this to the side here. I think this might be a bit off, but we can always edit that. This one, it chose to keep the same style as this. So we definitely want it to be more consistent. One like for the content slides. Okay. So this one is also okay, but I actually prefer the more flat look that this has. So basically, when I highlight this, it has slide 5 as context. So it knows how that looks now, and then I can say, I like the look of slide 5. Could you keep the same style for slides 2, 3, and 4? And then we can say that the visual code background. So keep the holistic, something like that. Let's try to run it. Okay, so we can move these. So we just keep the ones that we actually want to use. And then while we wait for this to generate, we can just upscale this one to see how it looks. And a better quality. I think 2K is okay since it's going to be on Instagram. And I think Instagram will probably downscale it below 2K anyway. And you can, as you can see, like each action you do has a cost in terms of these credits. So yeah, you might as well just do what's necessary. Okay, so this looks pretty great. I think this looks very nice visually together, and I think it even places the logo at the same, it's the exact same height, so it becomes very nicely consistent. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind. So it's a bit varied, and even here when it kind of collides with the logo, it makes sure to fade it out. So let's upscale this as well. Then I want to take a look at this because it's actually not entirely correct, but I probably didn't explain this properly to the agent. So it says no complex servers, just npm install. That's true. And a Chrome extension. We don't really use a Chrome extension. So, so I'll do a quick edit here and say, look up the documentation, make it concise and nice to read. This one we need to change as well. I'll just try to run this, and then for this we can say, okay, so it has this one ready. No complex servers, install as a library or ask your AI agent docs at surf.code. Yeah, that's pretty good. This we can just say remove the npm install part and CTA like. Okay, I think this starts to look pretty nice even when you look at it together. I'll just move some of this up so it's not so distracting. All right, and it's done. And I kind of like that it also adds a bit of finishing touches on the last slide. So is it surf.code, open source and agent agnostic? I might want to change some of the text here later, but I won't do that now because it's the more important part is the overall concept. And I think visually this actually looks pretty nice as a story you would swipe through on Instagram or something. So I think it's pretty impressive that you can do something like that so quickly. I really like this. I think it's a really nice flow. I think it's really nice that it's so flexible that you keep improving your work instead of starting from scratch, where if you just use stock Nano Banana in Google Gemini or something, you would usually get pretty frustrated because you need to be so like exact, and you need to really make sure, like every time you need to tell you're not allowed to do that, you cannot change this, you can only change that part, and then sometimes it will just change it anyways. So I'm sure they behind the scenes, the Lovart agents have all this under control, like they really do all this prompting, so you don't need to worry about it, which eventually will give you better results. We take that out of the equation, so it's more likely that we get the results that we actually want. So I really like that. So now we have the story. So that's the kind of the first thing that I wanted to achieve, and then now we'll take a look at some other options and some other brand assets we can create with Lovart. And then I'd also like to show a pretty creative feature of Lovart that I was actually pretty surprised when I noticed, because it's actually a really convenient thing to be able to do, because it makes editing a lot more seamless. And for that, I will drag in a new background image that I found on Unsplash. So so as you see, it's a bit more like it's a bit more sophisticated in terms of the texture, and I'd really love to see how some of these elements look on this background. But I don't want to just copy like one of these, but just to show what this tool can actually do, I will pick some elements from like different cards. So let's see. First of all, when you select any element on the canvas, like if you select this, you can see it actually puts this context down in the chat here. And then the tool I'm talking about is this mark tool. So so if we press the mark tool, we can actually select any individual element on like anywhere on the canvas. So to do this, we can just first say something like, okay, on, and then the picture on this picture. Then we move it here. So it's just semantically how you would normally phrase it. On this picture, put, and then we can tag the logo. So if we press, then it will basically tag it here, and it will automatically identify that this is a surf logo. So we want to put the surf logo as well as, and then let's find something else. So we want the, I would like this graphics as well, just to see how that looks on that background. And in this case, it identifies some text, but we actually want to know, like we wanted to know that this is like the abstract text graphics, something like that. So we can basically describe it. Let's see this header, and then let's say with CTA at the bottom, similar to, and then let's tag that's this visit surf.codes. Place all elements so they look aesthetically pleasing, balanced layout, something like that. So let's try to run this, and let's just check that we still have Nano Banana Pro. We don't want this to be a video. Okay. Let's try it. So the power of this is that it gets all these like specific context from whatever you're working on, and then it can just place it anywhere and adapt it to the new context. So in the end, that's a lot faster than trying to describe everything in detail, when you can just pick out exactly what you want to show the AI as a context without spending so much time writing the entire context. And it seems to be done. So this is the result. Oops. Although I wanted it to use start building smarter agents text. So we can first of all edit that. Then I can also show how the edit text function actually works. So that's good. And then we simply remove this. And this I actually like. So let's run that. Okay, let's take a look. So yes, this looks better. Start building smarter agents. And then I would like to address the graphics. So again, we can use the marker, and then we can say in the center of image 6, place the abstract text art or graphics from, and then we use the bar, and let's try to put it up here just so it, and then I guess it's the code block. Make sure to place other text elements from this one. Works with the abstract code art, something like that. I mean, obviously it's no fixed science, like it's all about nudging the AI in the way you want it. Okay, and it seems to be done. So let's take a look. So yeah, this is pretty cool. This is sort of what I envisioned. So it has this background, and then it also has the code art. Of course, it's a bit actually it's pretty good quality. And then we can of course easily upscale this as well. So we just press as before upscale. And let's say this is actually like a big poster. So I mean, we can do even like 8K if that's what we wanted. Let's try just for fun to do 8K. Okay, so it seems to have upscaled it now. So we can look at the quality and how far we can zoom in. So Just try to zoom in on the background, which it seems to have upscaled as well. And the text is just very crisp. So yeah, we can even use it for like something like even print like a poster, for instance. Okay, so now we have a lot of different assets, or like we don't have so many assets yet, but we have a style. Like we have sort of a brand set up. Like we have this very simple, clean look, and then we have the more like textured look as well. But let's say we want to just create other assets as well based on this like this brand and these this overall style that we've created. I won't show all of them in detail because that would take too long, but I'll just try to create some different things now using all the tools and templates from Lovart, and I'll speed up the process so you can take a look of what we can build relatively easy with Lovart once we have like a direction and a starting point. So let me get started on that. If this video inspired you, please like and subscribe. And have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.